Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday and welcome to our weekly Coffee with the Principal. I'm so glad that you took the time to join us today. I'm excited to share some updates, a little bit about what's going on in the spring, and yeah, we'll do this today. Thanks so much for being here. Just as a reminder, you've joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording this meeting and we encourage you to leave your video on, but there's no need to do that. We'll have a time for Q&A towards the end. And if you want to ask a question, feel free to use the chat or feel free to raise your virtual hand or your physical hand, or you can just unmute when we do that. Okay, so a couple of things as we get started. One is we are at the time of year where we start inviting high schools to come to our Coffees with the Principal and share a little bit about their program, their instructional program for families who are considering high school. And this is definitely geared towards our 8th grade families. However, it's really, we've gotten great feedback from 7th grade families and 6th grade families as well, which gives them information about high schools as they move forward in the coming days and weeks. Last time we had Coffee with the Principal was a couple weeks ago, and it was Portal Schools. And so you can check out that video on our YouTube archive. Next Friday, we're going to be joined by representatives from Westchester Enriched Sciences Magnets. They're right here, right on our campus. So we're excited to have representatives from there as well. If you haven't checked out ClassDojo yet, be sure to check out ClassDojo because all of the cool things that your kiddos are doing are getting shared by teachers there. We had a video for one of our, two of our 8th grade classes who did rocket launching this past week when we come back from the Thanksgiving break. So be sure you're on ClassDojo. Additionally, ClassDojo gets used by our teachers to really shout out the great things that our kids are doing in terms of academics, in terms of their character, in terms of the virtues and values that they're developing as human beings. So that is always a great place to check that out. One thing that I'll share here for the first time is that the Westchester Community of Schools is hosting a town hall next Thursday at 5 p.m. And that is going to be hosted by our Community of Schools Administrator, Ms. Jennifer Theodore Sullivan. She will lead a live town hall Zoom. You can pre-register at the link that I just put in the chat. It's also here on the screen. And you'll get even more updates than you necessarily would from me. So definitely want to check that out. Okay, all right, this is a really important one. So the school experience survey, as a district and as a school, we always want to know how we're doing because it matters. And we are here for students, but we're also here for you as families. And so hearing from lots of different families who are all responding to the same questions helps us know in aggregate what are some of the areas that we as a district and we as a school are strong in, and what are some areas that we as a school could get better at. And so some of you know that every single month here at the school, we give our students a little mini version of a survey. And we actually take lots of time during professional development to look at those results and adjust and make it an even better experience for kids. But once a year, the district launches a district-wide school experience survey, and we need your help. So that survey is now live, and they extended the deadline for families to complete the survey until December 19th. That's the Sunday after we end school for the semester. So it's coming up soon. They cannot extend the parent survey past December 19th. So what my ask is that you would take a moment and click the link. It's on the screen here, but it's also in the chat. I'll put it in the chat again. And just take a little bit of time, maybe about 10 minutes or so, and complete the school experience survey. That will be super helpful. We will get results in aggregate from our students here, and we'll be able to see where we are strong from your perspective, but also where our areas of growth are. Just so you know, all of the results of these are anonymous, but they are public. So you can actually go to that website and you can actually look at results of any school in the district from previous years. And it's really fascinating to see some of those things. You can look up any school in the district and check it out. So please take a little bit of time and do that. Okay. All right, now kind of the main event, some COVID updates that I can share with you in terms of where we are at as a school and where we are as a district. I have stopped counting now the number of consecutive weeks that we've had without any positive COVID cases among students or staff. It's been at least 10, I'm not sure, but you know, we continue to have testing every week. We continue to have you know, the social distancing, masking everywhere, and more and more of our students are receiving the COVID vaccination. And that's important because, as you all know, the district has made that COVID vaccination mandated for students who are 12 years of age or older. And we want to thank you, all of our families of 12-year-olds or older who have gotten their child either one or both doses already and uploaded that to the daily pass. We do have a deadline of January 9th or January 10th is when we come back in second semester. So everything's got to be fully vaccinated by January 9th. And we're in great shape as a school. And we are almost there. So full vaccinations for all eligible 12-year-olds are due no later than January 9th, 2022, in order to be able to continue in-person instruction. And I have 3 hands up on the screen because I can count on 3 hands the number of kids left that we have in that eligible group who still haven't uploaded anything. And I've talked to some of these families and they're like, oh yeah, they got it from their doctor, or they're halfway through it. And I tell them, please take a moment and upload the partial card that you have right now, so we can make sure that you know, you stop getting the annoying messages from me that says, please take care of this, please take care of this, please take care of this. If we have eligible 12-year-olds who are not vaccinated, or have not shared their vaccination status through the Daily Pass by January 9th, then on January 10th, when we reopen for spring semester, those students would be excluded from in-person instruction. They'd be withdrawn from Catherine Johnson STEM Academy. They'd be enrolled in online City of Angels, where there are not Catherine Johnson STEM Academy teachers and not Catherine Johnson STEM Academy curriculum. So thank you for, you know, I think I'm, you know, for the most part, probably preaching to the choir with the folks who are, you know, on this group with me. But thank you so much for taking care of that, and for not waiting until the last minute to do that. That said, there are a couple of last things I want to mention with COVID before we shift to Q&A. And one is this: I have been learning the Greek alphabet, not just because I'm taking an ancient Greek class, but because all these variants that are coming out, you know, have Greek letter names with them. So you've probably heard about the Delta variant. You've probably heard about the Omicron variant. There have been other variants that you probably haven't heard about either as well. So, you know, just know that the district and the county are continuing to monitor all of the different variants that are happening, you know, with COVID. And the one consistent message that has been throughout all of this is the encouraging for all folks to get vaccinated. Again, it's a mandate for 12-year-olds and older. I forgot to mention, I will say that if you, for 5 to 11-year-olds, you can get a 5 to 11-year-old vaccinated at any of the LAUSD vaccination clinics that are happening across the district. So your 5 to 11-year-old can receive that vaccination, although it is not a mandate at this point. All right. Now, given all of the, as we continue to monitor the health situation and the variants that are out there, assuming that the overall health of the county and the district either remains the same or gets better, as long as things, don't get worse, then I want to share with you some of the restrictions that we'll be lifting as a district come spring. Again, it's all tentative, assuming that, things don't get worse or things stay the same, but we're preparing to lift some of the COVID restrictions in the following ways. And I want to share a brief 2-minute video from our interim superintendent outlining some of those.
Hello, Los Angeles Unified family. I'm Interim Superintendent Megan Riley. We have some important information to share about our updated COVID-19 protocols for the new semester that begins on January 10th. Baseline testing will take place the first week of school. Weekly testing will only be required for unvaccinated students. Vaccinated students and employees will not be required to test. Unvaccinated students will participate in modified quarantine. And outdoor masking will only be required for schools where fewer than 85% of students are fully vaccinated. Indoor masking will continue to be required for all individuals at all schools, regardless of vaccination status. These updated policies complement our existing health and safety practices, including frequent hand washing, sanitizing campuses, air ventilation, social distancing when possible, and daily health screenings. We continue to provide vaccines for all students and employees. Students ages 5 to 11 are strongly encouraged to get vaccinated. Please visit lausd.net for more information. In closing, please know that I appreciate each and every one of you for your contributions to our school communities. I'm so proud of what we have accomplished this school year. Together, we are achieving greatness. We appreciate your partnership and support, and we look forward to a healthy and happy spring semester. Thank you.
Okay, so those were some of the restrictions that the district and Katherine Johnson are preparing to lift come spring semester. Again, provided that overall county health and district health stays, at least maintains its current level. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, make sure you are all aware of that. And it is now 9:15. So I will stop talking and see we can use the rest of the time for questions that folks may have. So at this time, what questions might folks have about anything?
I have a PE uniform question.
Yes, I will try. Go ahead.
Okay. So the PE uniform, and correct me if I'm missing some information, of course, is the t-shirt and the shorts, correct? So as the weather gets colder, are there any modifications, or do you guys have available like sweatpants or joggers or something?
That is a great question. Let me do this. Let me follow up with our PE teacher, Miss Cassimere, on that and see how that may be modified on like cold days. One thing I can tell you for sure is that on like rainy days, the kids do not participate in outdoor activities. We want them to at least stay dry. But I will check in with Miss Cassimere on that and see to make sure that families know what the protocol is. One of the things I would recommend is that be sure you're connected to ClassDojo, because I know Miss Cassimere posts, you know, updates on that. But I will specifically get in contact her with her about that. Great question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What other questions might folks have?
I have a question.
Yes.
I wanted to know about parent volunteers with the restrictions being lifted. Will they be allowing parent volunteers onto campus?
So you can,
They're
great question. So
vaccinated?
I'm sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, if they have also been fully vaccinated.
Yes, you can do that. Contact Mr. Medellin in the main office and he will show you how to get that process started. You know, it's very similar to like it was before. There's a whole like, you know, protocol we got to fill out, and you know, there's a step-by-step process, but Mr. Medellin knows it. Reach out to him and he will help you do that. Thank you so much. Great question. What other questions might families have this morning?
I also had a question about the honors classes.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
About the honors classes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were talking. Ms. Cassimere sent out the memo about the honors classes being available to students. I wanted to know what the process was for that.
Was it Miss Gueth who?
I'm sorry, yes.
Okay, okay, got it. So what happens is that in general, what happens is we look at the overall performance of students in all of their subjects, and if the student meets certain criteria, we will put them in an honor section. Now, some students are already identified by the LAUSD Office of Gifted and Talented Education, and for some kids that happens in elementary school, which is fine. If you Google LAUSD GATE, I just put it in the chat. If you Google that, what happens is it outlines the process of how a student is identified as gifted and talented. And once they're identified as gifted and talented, then they will automatically be in honors courses, no matter what, throughout the rest of their time in LAUSD, including in high school. Most kids who are formally identified as GATE have that happen in elementary school, but we do have families who have that process done here in middle school. And you can reach out to Miss Gueth if you have questions about how to start that process, but you can do that. But because we are, all that to say, because we are a small school, we as a small school team will look at the students' overall academic record, also all sorts of things to really create the best environment, the best educational setting for each student to thrive. It's not perfect, but we do the best we can. And we encourage you to reach out to Miss Gueth, and she can like walk through the details with you regarding that. Hopefully I answered that question a little bit.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
To follow up with regarding.
I'm sorry, it sounds like I didn't hear what you just said. You were kind of fading out.
Yeah, has there been a resource specialist assigned to the school yet?
So we have an an itinerant interim resource specialist teacher who works with us once a week. He is here. He works with us on Wednesdays, is the days that he comes to campus. So he works and helps coordinate IEPs, reaching out to families, checking in with our teachers. Additionally, we have our special ed assistants. We have several special ed assistants who are in and out of classrooms supporting students with push-in. We have not been able to make a full-time hire into that role at this point yet, which is driving me crazy because it's been vacant since August. And it's frustrating for the district as a whole because that pattern is district-wide. I saw a slide at the board meeting a week ago, and there are something like 800 teacher vacancies in the district. And in like local District West, it's a good quarter of them. So what we're dealing with here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy is similar to what the district is dealing with as a whole, nationally as a whole. We haven't, come up with the ideal solution to that yet. And trust me, we are still working on that. But we do have Mr. Powell. He is our itinerant interim RSP teacher. And in fact, one of the things I can do is I can put his email in the chat right now, if you'll give me a second. If there are families who have specific questions about like what the data of that looks like, he's definitely willing to reach out to you and support with questions that you may have. Itinerant RSP teacher. Sorry, I speak slowly when I type out things. That's just me. All right, there we go. RCP 4909 at LAUSD.net, and it's Mr. River Powell. If you have specific RSP questions, he can definitely help you with that. Great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. All right. I see a question in the chat. My son needs help with math homework some weeks. What days and times is tutoring? Does he need to sign up? Great question. One of the, let's see. Just a real quick question. What grade is that student, Nancy? Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, 6th grade. Excellent. So definitely we do have after school tutoring available. That's going to be starting in the spring. We've been working with LMU students. We're going to have more of that. So stay tuned for more information about when that'll be happening on a regular basis in the spring. Great question. Great question. Any final question before we wrap it up for today? Okay. With that said, we'll close it out. Thank you again so much for joining me today. Don't miss next Friday. We're going to be joined by Westchester and Rich Sciences Magnets. We'll have Miss Millay here from the school, and she'll be sharing about the academic program up at Westchester. So thank you again so much. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week. All right. Bye-bye.